please bear with me. I'm going to get the word out, get it fired off, whether we fill up or not. There we go. Bopped it on to Twitter and Spoutable. And welcome to the Bonnet Chronicles. I'm your host, Kalari GXC. Let me just pin those really quick. That'll make it easier. I'm on my husband's computer. He has started his on-site work now. So I get this area. It saves me having to lug my laptop all around the house. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully the sound and everything is coming through. But we got a lot to talk about. First off, I want to say I'm sorry. Tell It Tuesday had to be postponed. We were out in the town getting some supplies yesterday. And by the time I realized how close to 4 was getting, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it tomorrow because I don't want to be frazzled, overheated, and tired trying to do these. Tomorrow's our wedding anniversary too, so we got a lot going on this week. Whew. Gonna go see Deadpool tomorrow, and it's gonna be nice. But we're gonna get fired off with the main top. Well, this ain't the main topic, but the opening topic of Elon Musk. Now, we all know how I feel about Elon Musk. You don't even have to go that many Bonnet Chronicles back. I call him the apartheid edgelord for a reason. He is very frustrating, especially since he's bought Twitter. And he is taking fire for posting a fake video of VP Harris. Because, of course, idiots like him think that in a autocracy or a theocracy, he'd be fine because he's got money. And for a while you would, Elon. Until you realize that people are dying. Until you realize that theocracy means less people buying those Teslas. Oh yeah, and I found out, thanks to YouTube, 1.8 million of those ugly ass cars are being recalled because water seems to be their enemy. If you go into a car wash and you don't hit a certain mode, you brick it. If you get caught out in the rain, you brick them. So Elon's not having that great of a year, on top of wasting $44 billion for a social media site where he's still the lamest kid on the block. But this was 2 days ago, and I would have loved to have gotten to it yesterday, but like I said, life happens. This idiot right here decided that he was going to, I don't know, sway elections, sway voters by putting a literal deep fake. I guess you want to booster your buddy, anything he says, by having them go, well, if Elon can make a deep fake of Kamala, who's to say that Trump's rambling and bambling is a fake? We take it directly from his rallies, so there you go. We take those directly from his interviews. We don't have to make up fake stuff about Donald Trump. He does the work for us. He's on record saying that you don't have to worry about voting anymore after 2024 Christians, and that he's not a Christian. But in the war against fascism, those of us who want to protect democracy, we are literally up against tech assholes like the apartheid edgelord who want to, I don't know. I think he really thinks if he sways the election, he'll be given like this carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wants here. And that's not how it works, apartheid edgelord. But Elon Musk is being accused of violating the policies on his own social media platform, Twitter, because I'm going to keep calling it Twitter since he doesn't like that, where he shared a fake video of Vice President Harris that uses artificial intelligence mimicking Kamala Harris's voice to spew insults about her campaign and President Biden. Because he's juvenile. This is a grown-ass man, a full-ass businessman, a supposed tech mogul, who has time to do this. The video Musk shared on Friday mocks Harris's ad campaign and features a voiceover calling President Biden senile, holds up a mirror to Trump, and Harris the ultimate diversity hire, which I'm going to tell you right now. These idiots, these bigots think that calling people diversity inclusivity hires is a bad thing, when we have to be twice as qualified as you fuckers. Your insults are lame, and we know you just want to call us slurs. This video does not contain the disclaimer that it uses AI to mimic VP Harris's voice, of course. Because if he thought he could get away with portraying this as real, he would, because he's a scammer. though the original post from the account at Mr. Riggin USA labels it a parody. We're in the digital dark ages. Musk made no such distinction on his post, a move that appears to violate his own stupid website's policies, using misleading media. The Harris campaign knocked Musk over the video. We believe the American people want real freedom, opportunity, and security. Vice President Harris is offering, not the fake, manipulated lies of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. The campaign spokesperson, Mia Ellenberg, said in the email. California Governor Gavin Newsom also called out the post, saying such videos should be against the law, especially when you're not saying it's a parody. But you know, these guys, they want carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want. And even if other people didn't condemn it, it's fucked up that he's wasting his time and money to do that. Manipulating the voice in this ad should be illegal. I'll be signing a bill in a matter of weeks to make sure that it is. Musk hit back at Newsom's promise to ban the videos in a crude response early Monday morning. I checked with renowned world authority professors. Okay. I'm not saying that because I'm 47. And I know how to behave like a proper adult, Elon idiot. He's ridiculous. The video hits on a number of attack lines against VP Harris. I'm not going to read this. This is ridiculous. He just really wants to help usher in that Project 2025 bullshit. Maybe then he can get a bunch of women to get pregnant and name their kids non-binary code words and numbers instead. Where he can dead name them if they dare come out LGBTQ+. I am so sick of him. And if it wasn't for the fact that my Twitter platform is larger and that in signing up to help this campaign, I want more eyes on what they can do to donate, help out, canvas, phone and text bank, I wouldn't fuck with Twitter because I do still prefer Spoutable. But the fact that this man thinks he can get away with shit like this is a problem. And we have got to stop allowing him to believe that he is untouchable in this. So I hope that Governor Newsom, Governor Whitmer, and other governors with sense in their heads start drafting bills and get this passed that we cannot use AI deepfakes during elections. It's not cute, it's not funny, and it could cause more harm than good, even for their stupid side. But so far, we don't even have to make up stuff. They're already about that life. Welcome to the Chat's Picks. I hope that you're okay, honey. I know you've been working hard on crocheting, on making chairs, and other things for needy people. So it's always appreciated when you can make it, dear. We're going to bop over to Florida because a judge just put a kibosh on partial Ron DeSantis' ideas for stopping woke. His Stop Woke Act, which is just another word for we don't like black people, we don't like brown people, we're going to go hard against them. We don't like the LGBTQ+. We just want an America that looks, acts, and plays like us. Well, DeSantis, a judge said no to some of your banking things. So we're going to get to this article. Okay, I think it already bopped it over. I'm liking the new setup, y'all. I don't have to do half as much bopping over. Alright, let's scroll down here. This idiot. Freedom from indoctrination. The nerve. All these people want to do is indoctrinate people to be little foot soldiers for fuckery. But he will sit there with one little fucking black person in the background. Oh, I see two. Shame on you, sister girls. Stop woke. Stop CRT. Critical race theory is not even taught in most schools. It is taught as a legal measure so that the law can be balanced and neutral. But you can't tell these dum-dums that. They found something that they can wave to signal to other bigots that, hey, if you want to be bigoted and hateful, join our party, the GOP. Making America white, Christian, and straight male again. Because remember that, Christian women, they're not about you unless you're barefoot pregnant. And even then, don't try to cross state lines, even if you're just visiting family, because they'll accuse you of trying to get an abortion. Re-fucking-diculous. A federal judge has permanently blocked the restrictions that Ron Deathsantis, and Republican lawmakers placed on handling race-related issues in a workplace training, part of the controversial Individual Freedom Act, better known as the Stop Woke Act. I'm going to tell you again, anybody who is anti-woke in 2024, you are just channeling your 1950s ancestors who got to call us the M-word, got to fire police and dogs and hoses on my grandparents, who were just marching to say, treat us like humans, treat us like equal citizens. We fought in wars for this country. We are not going to be dehumanized. But of course, you got these assholes who think it's cute to go, oh no, woke is bad. We don't want to feel bad for being white. It has fuck all to do with you feeling bad for being white. It is to pry the eyes open to those of you who remain asleep, who will march us into fascism because you think that your rung on the social hierarchy is more important than moving forward together as a solid country. There's a problem when people say, oh, I don't want to seem woke. So you don't want to have compassion for your fellow man. You don't want to not express bigotry and actually be inclusive. You want to feel like, oh, talking about the past crimes of our country will make me feel ashamed for being white. So you really stake your ethnicity on the fact that most assume right off the bat now that you're a bigot and that you have to do the work to prove you're not. Welcome to being black in America. It's not about making you feel bad for who you are. It is honestly about helping you see that this is not the path for you. Especially if you call yourself a Christian at this point. Exactly. A humanist, pansexual, non-binary, no-kid, cat lady, couch fucker, and the felon can hate her. Exactly. All of these GOP motherfuckers are the same. They're just bigots who try to wrap themselves in the flag and say they're patriots, but there's nothing patriotic about making fellow Americans feel awful because they don't look, act, pray, or even think the way you do. You just want conformity in a melting pot. It's not going to happen, man. And no matter how many little tokens you get to sign up because it's lucrative for them, there will be a lot more of us to say, we're not down with your bigotry. The act was one of several bills the Republican governor signed in 2022 as a part of his war on woke ideology. The idiocy for me, man. It was intended to prevent teachings or mandatory workplace activities that suggest that a person is privileged or oppressed based on their race, color, sex, or national origin. So they don't want the truth. It really is a bill against the truth. Let's tap it down, see if there's any more. Walker first issued the preliminary... Oh, it's a Walker. I don't think it's any relative to me because the only judge I have in my family is based out in Utah. It is what it is. But I love seeing the name of somebody who's, could be family. We don't know. They introduced the first preliminary injunction to block the state from enforcing prohibitions on mandatory workplace activities and training, which means sensitivity training, inclusivity training, training against sexism so that women don't have to be harassed, training for sensitivity so that you don't treat trans, LGBTQ, non-binary work people, employees like they are non-human. And this especially helps black and brown people not get discriminated against in the workplace from promotions and training when somebody is racially insensitive to them on the job. But of course, Deathsantis and others like him don't want that. They would love to trot us back to 30, 40 years ago where they could call us the M-word and say, hey, you don't have rights to do this. Oh, you want to own property? Denied. Want to get a good job? Denied. Your name doesn't sound straight, Christian, and white enough for us. It's a mess, y'all, and we got to stop allowing them to do this kind of mess. The judge's Friday order came from a federal appeals court in March that upheld the injunction, agreeing that the part of the law infringed on the employer's right to free speech. At the same time, DeSantis' office issued a statement disagreeing with the ruling. Of course they did. Describing it as upholding the idea that companies have a right to indoctrinate. It's not about indoctrination, you idiots. It literally is about keeping discrimination out of the workforce, out of schools, and out of places they don't belong. But you can see where these wannabe fascists don't care about that. These are the same motherfuckers who call themselves flag-waving patriots. But they don't want actual freedoms for all Americans. They only want it for some. And it's like I said, Deathsantis is one of many governors playing those kind of games. But what we are not going to do is allow them to get away with that. Let me pop that down now. I don't even have to transition stuff over no more. I love this new setup. When Greg initially offered me the office, I was like, I don't know. I don't mind the kitchen area because I have the desk there. But now we have an ice maker and a bread maker set up there. So it's extra space for cooking and prep. And I like this office. It's full of all of our geekery. Some stuff is still in boxes because we got to get more shelving in here because we're running out of room for all of our stuff. But it's a nice setup. But you brought, hey, Ballad Club, welcome. I'm loving it. It's our den of geekery. But it's like I said, what Pick said, and I'm a cat mom too, just goes hand in hand with one of the problematic things Pick and J.D. Vance has been for Donald Trump, which I love that for him. Besides being offended that we call y'all weird, what else would you call somebody who's sexist, racist, homophobic in 2024 but a bunch of fucking weirdos? I'm sorry, not sorry that it gets to you. But the fact of the matter is, it is fucking weird that J.D. Vance continuously harps on childish couples, people who just opt not to have babies, childless cat women who I don't even understand. What the fuck is your problem with cats, dude? The fact that you can't even defend your Indian wife from the fucking racism? That you got busted taking your half Indian child to a literal trade show that had Nazi memorabilia. That you went from being a carpetbagger who wanted to be Hollywood with your hillbilly elegy bullshit to a senator, first term, who I still can't understand how Tim Ryan lost to him, except for the fact that you were an idiot, Tim Ryan. You social climbed your way up, going from attacking Trump, calling him America's Hitler, to now sucking his ass. And unfortunately for Trump, no amount of ass kissing is going to get away from the inappropriate relations with the couch rumors. It's not going to get away from the fact that you allegedly like a certain dolphin activity. And it's definitely not going to get away from the fact that you keep attacking women. We know you got a problem with women, man. And this article just highlights some of those issues. Because he doubled down on the childless cat women bullshit that he said. And it's like, dude, say nothing. That's all you need to do is say nothing. But you can't help it. Because you want to be a star. You really think that the hatred is going to be enough to get you into the White House. Or maybe you think you're going to cheat your way, but we're not going to allow it. Gen Z is into the mix. Gen X is into the mix because Kamala is on the cusp. Boomers are into the mix. She has got support from all demographics across the spectrum, man. It is going to take more than your hate campaign to knock us back. We are fighting strong. We are 50 states strong of people who do not want to go back. We won't go back. And I agree. I love that. I swear. I love the fact that he banked on Vance so hard. And even people that I know who are voting conservative do not like this man. For whatever reasons. Whether it's the bigotry against his family, because he did marry an Indian woman that had 2 children. Whether it's women who are kind of fed up with the whole idea that we're only here to make babies. Whether it's all the people who know that he is just a racist for pay. And can't even defend his wife. So he's not really a man either. Yeah, I'm going to go there. If you can't stand up to an interviewer who wants to ask you how do you feel about the racist labels that are being thrown at your fucking wife that you claim to love because she's a good mom. Whatever the fuck that means, if she's a successful lawyer. What the fuck's the point? You should have ended it. When I asked my husband the other day, what would you say to an interviewer that brought up the fact that you are married to a black woman, first of all, he did point blank said, I wouldn't want to interview with racists. That's not my jam. And then I would say to them, are they jealous? And the whole reason he's like that is because there's no fucking reason in this day and age to be like that. We're humans. We just have different ethnicities and a little bit of different cultural backgrounds. But I grew up in the church. He grew up in the church. I just walked away from the nonsense because I didn't feel spiritually connected as I do as a witch. And I'm never going to apologize for that. I still respect the Bible. I respect the Quran. I respect the Torah. I respect people's choice and whatever faith path, or if they decide, hey, it's not for me, I'd rather be atheist or agnostic, because I believe in individuality. But fuckers like Vance, who just seemingly want to continue to disparage people without kids, or who happen to have vaginas, whether it was biologically or whether we transitioned into them. He just seems to have a fucking problem with it. So let's see if we can get this fired up.
CNN's K-File this morning on Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance. The controversial comments he made questioning the judgment of people without children, they were not a one-off. In May of 2019...
Just to pause it. I question the judgment of people who do it with couches. Exactly. Hey, honey, you're supposed to be at work. Don't you get in trouble watching me.
He told a crowd, quote, babies are good because we're not sociopaths.
I say this as a sociopath and a mom. What the fuck are you even talking about, you dipshit? How do you say stuff like that with a freaking straight face? Like, you're literally saying that anybody that doesn't have a baby is a sociopath? That's not how that works. So now you're fucking ableist on top of that shit. There's no sociopath here. We can have babies. Some of us choose not to. It's a fucking spectrum. But how dare you? For real. And Action Wolf is awesome. I thought he was in the chat. I was about to say, I know he's at work.
To their country because they have children. So I would say that we should care about declining fertility, not just because it's bad for our economy, but because we think babies are good. And we think babies are good because we're not sociopaths.
You're a dumbass. You're a real dumbass. I can't even understand. The fertility rates are not down. And your dumbass governors in the GOP keep writing these heartbeat bill laws which makes IDF and IVF fertility treatments harder for couples. You're supposed to be the party of children, which creeps me out on so many levels. The party of make babies great again. And yet you do everything in your process to make it harder for women to have safe births. Treatments, Planned Parenthood, because, oh, they might get an abortion. Yous are the reason why it's harder for women to even want to walk that path. Because it's dangerous still in 2024 for women to safely have babies unless you have a solid network. I'm lucky. I love my OBGYN so much. I can't even tell you how much I gush over them. Because they listen, they hear you. It's just amazing. But so many American women don't have that luxury. And it's because of dipshits like this who only care about the baby making process, but don't care about anything else, including the people who do 99% of the fucking work. You only do 1%. And it's not even always that great.
Then in November of 2020, during a podcast appearance, he said this.
There's just these basic cadences of life that I think are really powerful.
It doesn't. It makes no sense at all.
Kids in your life. And the fact that so many people, especially in America's leadership class, just don't have that in their lives, you know, I worry that it makes people more sociopathic.
Stop using the word sociopathic, you asshole. I just don't even understand that. Hi, Bae Nobu. It's good to see you. Are you... Oh, yeah, you're the one that got Foodie Beauty's name. It's good to see you, dear. Because I don't think you're the real Chantel. I believe she can't stand me. It's good to see you, hon. The whole idea that he's trying to come for politicians that don't have kids. Ignoring that there are some politicians that don't want kids. But this was trying to attack VP Harris, who is a mom who took over not even took over, co-parents with Doug, her husband, with their kids. She is also on good terms with Doug's ex-wife. They are a blended family. Being a mom doesn't just mean the babies that you pop out of you. Some moms adopt. Some moms foster. Some moms are actual aunties that took their kids in. Some moms are uncles who also call themselves aunties. We are a fucking melting pot. And parenthood, from pet parents to child parents, shouldn't be used as a weapon. But J.D. Vance, this is who he is. And I don't think he understands that November's coming. And there are a lot of childless cat ladies who are gunning to make sure that you're humiliated in November.
And ultimately our whole country a little bit less less mentally stable. And of course, you talk about going on Twitter. Final point on.
You know what makes the country more mentally stable? Because fuck this noise. Even listening to his voice is like fingernails on chalkboard. Because he tries to do that calm NPR voice, and you're not fooling anybody, you bigot. I think what makes our nation mentally unstable is the fact that hate continues on. That there are people that would rather sell their souls to have a social hierarchy perch over everybody else, dehumanize others. That you can't live openly and freely as who you are. Whether it's your skin tone, whether it's your cultural background, whether it's your sexual orientation or gender identity. And it's those confines and those boxes, because hate is such a low-hanging fruit for bigots, that causes people to have these mental fractures, and even amongst you bigots. Because you've got to uphold the, oh, I'm a manly man, or oh, I'm a feminine woman, and I believe in this, when you really don't. Some of you don't even understand who the fuck you are because you've never been allowed the freedom to truly be yourself. And because hate is so easy, you don't even have to fucking think about it. You go about that. And it's just so freaking frustrating. And I know, dear, I love the fact that you grabbed her name. I love the fact that you call her out too. Chantel could never. But what drives me nuts is this is the same shit these GOPers try all the time. And it can't work. We cannot allow it to work. But we're going to move on to some fun. I've got 2 videos here thanks to Beans who had me up to this person. Oh yeah, Harris 2024 all the way. It's why I reactivated my Twitter account and unprivated it, because I'm fully using my platforms for her campaign. I know in Girl World is kryptonite. Oh, don't talk about politics here. I do my Girl World stuff mostly on YouTube, but I'll be damned if somebody tells me that I can't use my channel for what I want. If it loses me people, oh well, I don't care. But we are going to get this young man fired up. I say young man, he's probably around the same age as me. Beans had me up to him and I was rolling. I was sitting in the car when she sent me the text, and I played it, and I was just like, oh, this is brilliant. So this is a quick video, and then we're going to move on to one of his other videos. He's got a good Project 2025 one, too, but we're going to get to this Republican canvasser versus progressive voter, because it was fucking funny.
Hi. Good afternoon, sir. I'm going through the neighborhood today talking to people about Creel Ferret, your Republican candidate for Congress. Do you have a few minutes? We're about to hose off our son in the backyard, but I can talk while my wife's filling the wading pool. Fair enough. I'll get right to the point. The number 1 priority of Creel Ferret is election integrity. Okay. Creel Ferret will work to ensure that our elections are free and transparent and that only registered voters can vote and vote only once. The Democrats are actually...
The Democrats aren't, and I'm going to let this play through soon, but this is the BS that they've been floating since 2016 even. We've always had free and fair elections. It is very rare for Democrats to commit voter fraud. In fact, in the last 5 years, the people busted for committing voter fraud have been registered Republicans. The fact of the matter is, you can keep saying that, oh, the election was stolen, oh, people are doing stupid things, oh, we want to get rid of absentee ballots. You're not going to stop free and fair elections unless you put that doofus in office. Because need I remind you, he said the quiet part out loud. He told you, if you get me in 2024, you never have to worry about elections again, because they're going to make sure we never get to vote again. Remember that.
actually happening though? Well, with the present situation, there's the possibility. I mean, voter fraud of the sort you're describing basically never happens.
Exactly.
So why should I be mad about it?
Yep.
You mentioned you had a son. Are you interested in public education? Not because of my son. He's 24, but yes, I am. Okay, then. If elected to Congress, Creel Ferret will stand against dangerous movements like gender ideology and critical race theory that are threatening to confuse
Here
our
we go.
children and indoctrinate them into extreme belief systems. Do they teach critical race theory in the schools in this district? Technically, no, but why should I be mad about it? Your tax dollars fund the public schools in your district, so would you be okay
nails
with
ready for
students
tomorrow.
in those schools being
I
taught
can't
that
wait. It's
there
gonna be
are
nice
more
going
than
out
two
on a date.
genders, or that the United States is an institutionally racist country? Yes.
Yeah.
You would. The only people who seem super invested in convincing everyone that institutional racism isn't a problem are racists who want to be able to keep getting away with being racist.
Boom.
And I personally know trans people, including some non-binary people, so they exist. And you're okay with school districts spending money to accommodate so-called trans kids when that money might be better spent on programs to benefit special needs students like your son? My son's not special needs. And trans people account for a tiny fraction of the population.
Yeah.
Seems like making trans kids feel safe and welcome and accepted in school shouldn't cost that much in terms of money or effort. So if the school
Exactly.
district is doing that, and it ought to be, why should I be mad about it?
Boom.
Free speech on social media? Facebook and Twitter have allowed their community safety features to be exploited for years by right-wing extremists in order to silence progressive and marginalized voices. So if they happen to ban the odd Nazi here and there, why should I be mad about it?
Exactly.
Immigration. Documented and undocumented immigrants help the economy and commit crimes at a lower rate than people who were born here. Plus, this country was built in large part by people from other countries fleeing persecution and hardship in hopes of finding a better situation. So if that's happening now, why should I be mad about it?
Exactly. I'm telling you, this is the only way to
Anyone
clap
talking
bigots
about gun
back
rights?
with
Make it
facts.
fast. My wife says the pool's inflated and he's getting impatient. Creel Ferret will oppose any efforts to infringe upon the right to bear arms and will vote to fully fund police departments to keep our communities safe.
They want police
You haven't
state.
mentioned abortion yet. Are you pro-life? Absolutely. And so is Creel Ferret, who will fight to protect the lives of the unborn against. So you're mad about abortion, but when kids get killed at school or a bunch of people get killed at a mall or a nightclub because there's a mass shooting, you're okay with that. I'm not okay with it, but I'm asking people to support
I love
Creel
this.
Ferret because he understands.
And
in
welcome
a free
back,
society,
Pips.
these things
Like I said,
unfortunately-
I
something about funding
fully
police
stand
departments.
and
The
back
United States has higher
all
rates of gun
my
deaths
friends
and
who are
killings by police
all
than
over the
other developed
spectrum
nations, but instead
of
being
the
mad about
LGBTQ+.
that, you want me to be mad about efforts to reduce the number of guns and reform the police. Have I got that right? Basically, I gotta go. Get off my property or I'll give you something to be mad about. Is that a threat? Yes. What are you gonna do? Turn the hose on me? Send your disconcerting enigma of a son after me? We're not ruffians, sir. I'm just gonna beat your Nazi ass unconscious and drag you out there to the curb with the rest of the garbage.
Exactly.
All right. How long do I have to get off your property?
That's
I'll
how
give
you
10
have
seconds.
to,
Thank you. Good
Bay
afternoon.
Nobu. The
Oh,
only
will you
way
take a leaf
to...
or- No.
No, exactly. The only way to deal with these people is with facts. We cannot deal with the fictitious bullshit that they try to pull on us every time they want to push their hate agenda. And this young man is just, he's amazing. I enjoy his channel so much. He is Steve Shives, and I got another video for him coming up because I love the way he interacts. I'm telling you, the one thing I like about YouTube so far is how many talented people can come up here and just do these sketches and skits and make them make sense. So we're going to get this one fired up. It's called Elon Musk, the Republican Party, and Child Abuse. Because honestly speaking, with that deep fake that Musk did of Kamala Harris, it is not shocking to me that he is full on entrenched and pulling us backwards. And let me bop that. I thought I gave him a like. Steve Shives, y'all.
Recently, Elon Musk tweeted that he intends to relocate operations for two of his companies, Twitter, which Musk is still vainly insisting the rest of us refer to as X,
Nope, Twitter.
and SpaceX, from California to Texas. Musk has whined and complained about various aspects
And this is why I am begging Texas voters. Get Abbott and these other assholes like Ted Cruz out of the office. This man isn't going to make you money. He blows up SpaceX shuttles. His fucking Teslas get bricked by water. Literally bricked by water. Shives is amazing. I just found out about him because of Beans. He is just doing the thing. I'm telling you, I was shocked that I didn't have him come up in my algorithm. But when I say the fact that all these fuckers, including Drake, run into Texas because they think that's going to be a bastion of their nonsense, Texas, y'all need to do better. My granddaddy's from that state, and I am really fucking sick and tired of people using Texas as a go-all for racism. Act like y'all know better.
California for years, but according to his tweet, the last straw was Governor Gavin Newsom signing Bill AB 1955 into law. I did make it clear to Governor Newsom about a year ago, Musk wrote in a reply to his tweet announcing the move, that laws of this nature would force families and companies to leave California to protect their children. Boy, that law must be pretty
They need to protect their children from your brick-ass Teslas.
bad. AB 1955 is titled the Support Academic Futures and Educators for Today's Youth Act.
Exactly.
Which, now you know it's just got to be terrible, right? With an aggressively positive title like that. And yes, Support Academic Futures and Educators for Today's Youth. The first letters spell safety. An aggressively positive title that is also an acronym. This bill must be bad news. Okay, what's it actually say? From the summary at the top of the bill, this bill would prohibit school districts, county offices of education, charter schools, and the state special schools, and a member of the governing board or body of those educational entities from enacting or enforcing any policy, rule, or administrative regulation that requires an employee or a contractor to disclose any information related to a pupil's sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression to any other person without the pupil's consent, unless otherwise required by law as provided.
So they want to protect LGBTQ plus students, which I remember growing up, having friends that literally had to stay in the closet because of hate crimes. I remember wanting to go into law enforcement because of what happened to Matthew Shepard, doing a presentation in front of my criminal justice class about how that hate crime correlated with the hate crime against my family being threatened to be firebombed out of our house. How one doesn't trump the other. Lives shouldn't be lost simply for existing who we are in America. And I always regret that I didn't follow through with criminal justice seriously in order to be a defender for the LGBTQ+. But business ended up calling me better and the classes were easier, honestly. The fact of the matter is, Gavin Newsom signed this bill because he knew how dangerous it is in our country. Still, for trans students, for openly homosexual students, for any pansexual, non-binary students. And nobody should, especially at a tender age, have to fear for their fucking life and safety just going to school. And the fact that Elon Musk used that as the reason why he wants to bounce out of California, fuck you, apartheid edgelord.
Okay, so basically the bill makes it illegal for employees of school districts to out LGBTQ students,
which is a
the
good
consent
thing.
Of the student.
Exactly.
Given how mistreated and misunderstood queer people, especially queer young people, are in this country, that sounds like a good and sadly necessary idea.
Exactly.
But that's just the summary. The devil's in the details. I bet the actual text of the bill hides all sorts of horrors. Horrors so horrible they've driven the mighty Elon Musk from the Golden State. Section 2. The legislature finds and declares all of the following. A. All pupils deserve to feel safe, supported, and affirmed for who they are at school.
Oh, no!
Okay, but what else? B. Choosing when to come out by disclosing an LGBTQ plus identity and to whom are deeply personal decisions impacting health and safety as well as critical relationships that every LGBTQ plus person has the right to make for themselves.
Exactly. The fact that there are these people, hi Chazzy Shaz, it's good to see you, honey. The fact that there are people out there that really think that, oh, the moral fabric of society is tumbling. People, how dare they get to understand who they are, who they love, who they're attracted to, without pressure, without having some bigot openly out them to humiliate them, without having to deal with bullying and harassment for who the fuck they are. Oh no, we can't have that. Fuck your morality. That's the thing that's causing mental illness. All these wannabe moral people who are fucking conflicted themselves.
I bet paragraph C is going to have the dangerous stuff. The parents will be...
I want the whole MAGA thing to just be a footnote in history of fuckery and foolishness. We're going to try. I swear we're going to try to make sure they're humiliated in November.
Is an extremely personal decision and want to support their children in coming out to them on their own terms.
Exactly.
Can I get that D? D, parents and families have
Can
an
I get
important
that
role
D?
to play in the lives of young people. Studies confirm that LGBTQ youth thrive when they have parental support and feel safe sharing their full identities with them. But it can be harmful to force young people to share their full identities before they are ready.
And I can even add to that. Not only before they're ready, but before they are even comfortable understanding it. Because it really still is a spectrum. There are plenty of people in the LGBTQ who are bisexual, who are pansexual. There are plenty who are homosexual, who are only attracted to women as lesbians or attracted to men as homosexuals. It is a learning process for so many people, just like it is for straight people. And don't tell me there aren't straight people who haven't experimented to see, who haven't been flirted with by different people and wondered. If you say so, you're fucking lying. The fact of the matter is, to be comfortable in your orientation is all we're asking for. And it's funny how all these supposedly comfortable straight people often want to control how a LGBTQ plus person feels. You don't get to shape that narrative no more. We're not allowing that to happen. We're not going back.
Can I get a... what comes after D? VD, if you're not careful. But... all kidding aside, the Safety Act is not a dangerous bill.
It really isn't.
It's an attempt to protect the privacy and well-being of LGBTQ kids and to give some legal backup to public school employees, teachers, counselors, etc., to provide a safe harbor at school for queer kids who don't have one at home.
Yeah.
If you read the bill in its entirety, and I recommend that you do, if this
So do
interests
I.
you, I'll put a link to it in the description of this video, or you can just search for AB 1955 and you'll find it. It's not long. If you read it, you'll see that not only does the bill strengthen legal protections for the safety and privacy of LGBTQ students, as well as protections for school employees who support them, it also mandates the development of expanded resources to provide support for parents and families of LGBTQ students,
Exactly.
including support groups and safe spaces for parents and families of LGBTQ kids, suicide prevention resources, and support for physical
And that's another
mental
thing,
health care
Pix.
providers with experience,
And
training,
mental health care
support.
providers is so important too, because so many kids struggle. It breaks my heart every time I see a child that is on that in that group, LGBTQ plus, saying, "Why ain't I normal?" And you are. There's nothing abnormal with knowing who you're attracted to, figuring out who you love, but loving yourself too. And so many kids don't have that strong foundation right now because our society is full of bigots trying to tell you who to be. And you find out that polysexual is a thing too. That there are a lot of new polyamorous couples out there that have multiple partners. It's not something to get the vapors over if it's not for you. But if you are secure in your life, it wouldn't matter. It's a bunch of insecure pricks that cause these rifts. Remember that.
Supporting parents and families of LGBTQ kids. It's not about the state coming between parents and children. It's about
Exactly.
the state recognizing that queer kids need support, affirming that public schools are allowed to provide that support, and putting community resources in place to encourage everyone to get on board with that mission, including the parents and families of LGBTQ kids. Who could possibly have a problem with this?
Musk.
Bigots, mostly, like Elon Musk. Scroll through Musk's Twitter account, and I recommend that you don't. There's nothing there of any substance or value, but if you want to get a sense of the man and where his head is at, go ahead, and you'll see in between posts supporting Donald Trump and embarrassing retweets of AI images depicting Musk himself standing on the surface of Mars, a steady stream of hateful, paranoid transphobia.
Yep.
Musk's personal bigotry becomes even more reprehensible when you consider the fact that he is the father of a trans child, a daughter, who came out in 2020 by reportedly texting her aunt and saying, "Hey, I'm transgender and my name is now Jenna. Don't tell my dad."
That's
2 years
sad.
later, she officially changed her name to Vivian Jenna Wilson and issued the public statement, "I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form." Gee, I wonder why Elon Musk, anti-trans bigot with a trans daughter who wants nothing to do with him, feels so threatened by the Safety Act. But
not only that, not to interrupt him, I can't imagine being my child's first bully. I can't imagine living in a world where my hatred is something that I don't even have to hate. It's so strong that I can't provide a safe, structured environment. No matter what, it's not your life that you're ruining when you act like this towards your children. But you sure are fucking up their minds when you don't allow them to figure their stuff out. That's why I always back and support parents like the Wades, who back their daughters transitioning, who love and support, uprooted them from Florida because that anti-woke bullshit was harmful to their daughter. The fact of the matter is, I will always support parents who support their kids' gender identities, sexual orientation, or just their children in general. Because our kids need that structure. They need to be able to feel confident about themselves. But I digress.
this isn't just about Elon Musk. The entire Republican Party, of which Elon Musk is an enthusiastic
and that's amazing, dear. This is why I love the deep, diverse fabric in our society.
The thing is, by opposing any efforts to affirm and support trans
and thank
people,
you so much for the bits.
To cut off trans people's access to gender-affirming health care, by vilifying trans people and seeking to delegitimize their very existence, the Republican Party is not just supporting transphobia, it's supporting something else, something most Republicans insist they are absolutely against. What do you call it when a parent rejects a child on the basis of who they are? What do you call it when a parent refuses to allow a child to obtain medical care or counseling? What do you call it when a parent makes a child feel unwelcomed and unwanted in their own home? What do you call it when a parent drives a child to end their own life? I don't know what you call it, but I call it child abuse.
Exactly.
And that's what the Republican Party supports.
Yep.
They don't say that, obviously. The Republican Party supports child abuse the same way it supports racism. They never, well, somewhat rarely come out and say we hate black people. They just support policies that disproportionately target black people for negative consequences. They attack social programs that benefit black people. They close polling places in majority black neighborhoods to make it more difficult for black people to vote. They structure budgets to deprive majority black communities and public schools of funding. When they oppose efforts to address racial discrimination in policing and the courts, they say it's because those reforms are soft on crime. When they attack
and I'm going to get to the affirmative action because I always hated that terminology. You just have to deal with it when I work corporate. Oh, you're an affirmative action hire. No, the fuck I'm not. I'm probably more qualified than most of you motherfuckers up in here. But it's the shit, the microaggressions that we have to deal with. The fact that they think that crime only happens in black areas. The fact that they think police reform means being soft on crime with no. It means police reform so that we can feel safe in our neighborhoods when we see somebody with a badge. Sonia Macy just lost her life, fuckers. On top of a whole slew of names of American citizens just minding our own black business and trying to rely on the police and being treated to judge, jury, and executioner. So no. We're not going to play these games about it being soft on crime. Y'all are bigots, and we need to vote these motherfuckers out like our lives depend on it.
Affirmative action policies, they say. Actually, it's affirmative action that is racist,
exactly.
not us.
We
don't think race should
equality
be a factor at all. We believe in a colorblind society. And you know how it goes.
And those colorblind motherfuckers get on my nerves too, because y'all always see color. You see it when you cross the street, when you see somebody black coming near you. You see it in the looks you give with anybody that looks different than you. We see it in the little racist words you call us. And the DEI and DEI bullshit that you're spouting. You don't see color, you see color everywhere and you hate it. And you can't make it more clear than the way you've behaved in the last few years.
With their support for child abuse. They don't say, we're the Republican Party, we're pro-child abuse. They say, we're pro-family. What they mean is, we're pro-family as long as everyone in that family is cisgender and heterosexual.
And white and Christian.
That's the only kind of family they care about. Deeper than that, it's the only kind of family they recognize. Under the conservative Republican view of the world, if you're a parent and you have a child who is gay or trans, that child is doing something wrong. That child has been corrupted.
Wow.
And you as the parent need to fix them. Why did legislators in California feel the need to pass the Safety Act? Because frequently, when LGBTQ kids are abused, that abuse occurs in their homes.
Yep.
And it is perpetrated by their parents or
Yep.
other people in their families. Because abuse perpetrated by family members contributes to higher rates of depression, self-harm, and homelessness.
And mental
among
health
LGBTQ
issues.
people.
Trust me, I know.
Because LGBTQ kids as a group need help. And all too often, they cannot expect to find that help at home.
Exactly.
Republican-controlled state legislatures across the country have passed laws intended to do the opposite of help. Banning gender-affirming care for trans youth, blocking public funding.
Look at all
from being
those
used
states.
to
All of these
subsidize
motherfuckers.
gender-affirming
All of
care,
them are fucked
and
up.
allowing the state to take custody of kids whose
Luckily,
parents
my
have
state
allowed
is not
them to
on there.
receive
Nor is the
gender-affirming
state
care.
I was born in.
Last
'cause-
year, the state of Florida, obviously,
Yeah.
passed Bill SB 254, which was subsequently signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis. The bill
Deathsantis.
not only bans gender-affirming care for minors and makes it more difficult for adults to access gender-affirming care, it establishes that a child receiving gender-affirming care can be used as justification for the courts to remove the child from a parent's custody.
And I knew about this, but every time I hear it, it makes me tense. Could you imagine being a family that just wants to support your child because they are struggling in a body that isn't who they are? And you finally find a medical professional that will provide the therapy that they're going to need, because it's not overnight. You have to get hormone treatments, therapy to make sure that you are not doing something that is irreversible to yourself. After getting through all of that, you still have to wait till you're 18 most of the time to even fully transition. And now they want to make it illegal, but also potentially snatch children out of harmonious homes, supportive homes, and put them in the foster care system, which is already a fucking nightmare. When the hate is this blatant, and you're still covering your eyes because I can't be woke. I have to hate. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. Who are you doing this for? And this is why I don't spiritually fuck with some of you. Because if you think that I'm going to spend my mortality here with you bigots and then hope to get into an afterlife with you too? Ah, fuck no. No thank you. Hard pass, bro. I don't want to be bothered with people who spend all their time wasting life being hateful, harmful people. Y'all can have your afterlife. I'll be with the other heathens having fun.
Anyone present in the state which means a Florida court could conceivably seize custody of a trans child who is visiting the state who doesn't even actually live there.
Which should
That
be
law has
highly
been blocked
illegal.
by a U.S.
Highly
District
illegal.
Court judge, and that ruling is currently being appealed. But the clear intent of Republicans in Florida,
This
and
is
all
why the
around
Wades
country,
left Florida,
is
y'all.
to give the full support of the state to transphobic parents and to use the power of the state against parents who are accepting and supportive of their trans kids. You might pick up on an inconsistency there. When Elon Musk and Ron DeSantis and other right-wing dipshits speak out against gender-affirming care for minors, or seek to prevent school districts from providing an environment where LGBTQ students can be safe from mistreatment, including mistreatment at the hands of their parents, the argument always boils down to parental rights. The rights of the parents must be sacrosanct. Who is the state
Exactly.
of California or any other government to tell a parent how to raise their child?
But in the same breath, and I know he's going to say the same thing, they want to tell loving and supportive parents that we're not doing it right. How dare you not be your child's first bully, morally shun them into to literal depression? How dare you not stand with us and be bitter bigots and harm their whole identity? It's fucking insane, the hypocrisy of these fucking GOPers. It really is.
That's in line with the general conservative attitude toward children, which views children
That's
as
awesome
the
picks.
property of
And
their
seriously,
parents.
Foodie,
Kids aren't human beings with certain
I
essential
really
rights that
wish
must
this
be
world was a
respected.
better place. I really wish that people could feel more confident in who they are. I really wish that we weren't up against a literal fucking just legion of dumbasses who seem to think that they have a moral obligation to make us a hive mind, to make people hate anybody who's different, who doesn't want to act the way they want us to act, who don't want to live the way they don't want us to live. And it's just tiring. But we've got to keep fighting because society has shown that we will continue on without them. That's why I laugh when they talk about, oh, we want this apocalypse so we can be raptured. We'll guarantee that we'll get a whole bunch of people signing on. I'm telling you, I will sit back on a lawn chair with some sunglasses. Let all those motherfuckers be taken off this planet for once. And the rest of us can go about not only taking care of the environment, taking care of one another, caring about this earth the way we should, and they can have their little sky paradise with their bigot sky daddy, because apparently if this happens, they'll affirm that all the shit that they said about us being different and being harmful and hateful and all that stuff was right. So that's a win-win for us heathens. We get an earth without y'all, and for you nuts who will be ushered off to your holy paradise of bigotry. Come on, fingers crossed that you get your will. Without nuclear bullshit either. Because none of that was in the Bible, you fuckers. But if your rapture is real, like you keep trying to say, and it's all of us bad people that are going to be left behind, bye. See you, shoe.
By everybody, they belong to their parents.
Wow.
And with few exceptions, parents can
They
do whatever
sure
they want
like
with
making
them.
things
If a parent-
property. Stares an ancestral side eye. Kids are not our property. I love my son. I will love any future kid I have. But I'm raising them to be strong-willed individuals. There is absolutely no way to have a solid, stable mindset if you are treated like property. You dehumanize children when you do shit like that. But that's the Republicans for you.
Parent wants to withhold vaccines from their child. According to most Republicans, they should have
Exactly.
the right to do that.
I really do.
If a parent's
The rapture would be
extremist
perfect
religious
for
beliefs
us.
compel them to deprive their sick child of medical care, and that child dies of a treatable condition, those parents shouldn't be punished. 34 states and the District of Columbia allow parents to forego medical treatments for their child on the basis of religious belief. Because,
Crazy.
hey, what's more important, the life of a child or the beliefs of that child's parent?
I am
Those are
definitely,
Republican
we're
values.
working on it. like I said, it's a slow and steady process. I still want to lose a bit more weight too, so. But like I said, I put it out there that we're trying, so fingers crossed, y'all.
You want to allow your child to die of measles? That's fine. You want to allow your trans child to live openly as who they are? You're a monster.
Wow.
Remember, Republican values, or the values Republicans claim to have, only actually apply to people like them. When they say parental rights should be absolute, they mean parental rights should be absolute for people like us.
And I'm going to stop it right there. I suggest you go watch Steve Shives. He is amazing. I love his sketches. I agree with him so much on this. But the fact of the matter is, this is what we're up against. Those weird moms of liberty who literally use Hitler's manifesto in one of their gatherings. Bigots who just want to hate everybody that don't look, act, worship like them. Who want to make a social hierarchy that destroys all of us. My phone going off for our anniversary. I already know phone. But the fact of the matter is, they're up against those of us who aren't going backwards. We didn't like the 1950s, except for the dresses. I love me a good A-line dress. But we don't want that mentality to be what we are about. And they can fight hard, they can bleed, they can say, well, the Bible says this. We don't got to listen to their narrative. But I'm going to get ready to wrap this up, y'all. Thank you all for sitting in on this hour of politics, news, social issue talks. I will get this up on YouTube probably either later on tonight or tomorrow before we head out. Thank you, Pix. Thank you, Foodie Beauty. Thank you, Baller Club, Chaz Shazzy. Thank you so much for sitting there. Thank you for the happy anniversary. You might not see me hanging out in chats tomorrow because we planned a whole day together. He actually set it up with his new job to get tomorrow off. So it's just going to be him and I enjoying things like a bookstore, Deadpool, dinner, and just having Greg and 10 times. So it's going to be really nice. But I will be back on Friday with another Bonnet Chronicles. Then on Saturday on YouTube, in my new Den of Geekery, enjoying Calling Out the Heifer and so much. So thank you so much, y'all. And I might jump on a panel or two tonight. I was invited 2 different creators to jump on that panel. So y'all might see me again if you've watched those people too. I think one is Jan's Views. The other one is House of Hannibal. You know I'm a housemate. But you'll see me around, y'all. I'm not disappeared, especially now that I got this new setup. But take care, hug your loved ones, and please try not to let hate be the low-hanging tasty fruit in your life. Life is too short to be a bitter bigot. Let's all just live. I'll see y'all soon.